I got me a radio voice this morning. Ready to use it. Hey, welcome back. I said welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, following up week 2, part 2 on F It. F It.
Today we're effing patience.
F patience.
On just these guys, you know.
F patience. I got no time to be patient.
And the impatient one over there is Pastor Mike.
And we got Dr. Parker in the house. And I got me a radio voice this morning. I finally got me one of them. Or I got me a podcast voice. Anyway,
Doc. Face for radio.
Can I start out with just expressing some gratitude real quickly?
And I'll be patient with you expressing your gratitude.
Yeah, you be patient. I am grateful for the good Lord putting a hand of protection over the Dennis family farm. It's one thing to sit there on a stormy night and watch the weather folks, you know, Lisa Teachman. What do they call her? Chief weathercaster?
Chief meteorologist.
Meteorologist, there you go. Stand there talking about there's a storm coming here and there's a storm coming there. But when your wife's family is from a tiny little town, population 100, it's approximately 100, and that there is a large wedge tornado coming directly at it.
Really?
And then after it goes directly at, and they kept talking about, on all 3 stations, they were talking about Plevna. Now that Plevna is that tiny little town, 20 miles or so west of Hutchinson.
That's right. I totally forgot about that.
There are people who have lived their whole entire lives in Hutchinson and have never heard of Plevna.
So, I kept going, why is Plevna so familiar?
Yep. So this put Plevna on the map. Now, unfortunately, Plevna got hit.
Don did that.
Well, true. So true. I missed that. Sorry, Don. So Plevna got hit. Wasn't destroyed, which is amazing because this thing was big. But... and it's been awesome already seeing how much they have cleaned up this tiny little town of community-driven people who just love each other and step up for each other. They already put a roof back on the church.
Really?
The parsonage was destroyed, but it's already very well cleaned up. It's amazing. They just stepped right in, and they're not waiting for any FEMA or anything like that. They're just rocking and rolling. But then it was headed right after that straight at the farm. And then it must have just taken a little jog to the right, and then it dissipated. But this thing was huge, and it was headed straight there. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for
that's amazing.
The protection for Ron, and that's my father-in-law. And yeah, I mean, it's just a quick little reminder, a clear reminder of how each and every day we ought to be a little more grateful.
Yeah, we don't talk about these things that much because they're just kind of normal to us. But, people sitting in England or Cambodia, the tornadoes that kind of rip through here. It's not that it's an everyday occurrence for us, but we do deal with them all the time. And you'll see the videos on YouTube or something, and they're just, incredible. Mm-hmm. And that's what just rolled through Plevna.
Yep. Little tiny town of Plevna. And
almost took it off the map.
Yep. Yeah, May, the month of May is an active month for Kansas.
Why do we live here?
Well, because every other month is, well, I don't know.
Let's take this show to the beach.
It's a great place to live.
Patience.
Yep. When you first sent me the whole idea that, let's just F patience, I thought, finally, somebody's on board with us. Let's just quit trying to be patient. Let's just start saying love is not patient. Love is not kind. Love envies. Yeah. No, but I think I get it.
Well, love is patient. Love is kind. Love never ends. Love never keeps no records of wrongs. Love perseveres. Love is many different things, and it has to be many different things because it can't be one thing because you can't do one thing all the time. And patience is a great example because it's an emotionally driven motivator. If I'm impatient, I may quit too soon. I may get up and leave. I may get frustrated. I may throw a fit. And then, we talk about becoming patient and we tell people, you need to be patient. And why?
And one of Dawn's favorite things for me to ever say to her is take a deep breath. She does not like that. And she said, do not tell me. So it's the same thing, saying, can you just be patient? It's not a good idea.
Well, yeah, definitely a bad idea to tell an impatient person, be patient.
Yeah. Shut up. Yeah.
Like telling an angry person, don't be angry.
Yeah. But the whole idea of taking it to another level where you take it from, I'm going to be patient to, I will persevere.
Yes.
That's the big difference.
Yeah. Instead of, again, we're letting emotions drive our life. And yes, it's great when emotions align. And yes, as you change how you think, you can change how you feel. So if you're impatient, you can work on changing how you think about things, changing your perspective so that you become patient. But you can't do that 24/7. And there are things that suck in this world and there are things that are frustrating. So learning frustration tolerance, learning to persevere through difficult situations or frustrating situations is equally valid and an excellent tool to have on board when you're impatient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think about here a few weeks ago when I was installing a new ceiling fan and the time where I was attempting to be patient and failing miserably. If I would have considered the idea that I'm not going to let this defeat me, I will persevere.
Boom.
And then get all those wires shoved in that little space. But I got it. And then I was upset with myself afterwards because I had become so impatient. I had lost my cool, but I wasn't even really considering, kind of the whole next level kind of, no, this is not going to defeat me. I will be disciplined and I will persevere. And so if I'd have gone there, I think that I would have been a lot better mentally through the process.
When I was younger, got a story for you.
Okay.
I had no clue about the world or anything. And I was in the military and I was probably 19, 20, maybe 21. And I decided I wanted to get a motorcycle license. I was going to buy a motorcycle and I wanted a motorcycle license so I could ride it legally on the street. So I'm at work and I worked on a separate island from the island where the mainland was, Oahu.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on another island and there was a ferry that went back and forth. Took 30 minutes on the ferry. So I go into work that morning. I didn't have any classes that day as a naval instructor. Went into work that morning and I told my boss, I said, hey, I'm going to run up to the DMV and get a motorcycle license this morning. I'll be back at noon. And he looked at me like, what? As if I just said, I'm going to go climb the Mount Alps or something. He's like, what? And before he could say anything, I left. Because that's how you do it in the military. You just, So I drove down to the DMV in Honolulu, pulled up front, beautiful sunny day. And I go and I open the first door and there's a line. Coming out the building, there's a line. I open the first door. There's a little patio area. There's two doors. I open the first door and there's a line already there. And I look past the line. I go inside. There's a line like 200 feet long, and there's one window open of the 7. And I go back and I stand in that line for a minute. I had not anticipated this. And I'm standing there, just like, okay, just be patient, okay. All these people are in line. I'll be in line. And we move about 2 feet. The door starts to shut behind me. And then the entire line backed up 1 step. And I went out the door and I lost it. I was so impatient. I lost it. I got mad and I got in my car and I'm cursing the DMV and I'm driving back to work. Red light after red light, just mad. And then it hit me. Man, I'm punishing them, aren't I? I'm really punishing them. So I go back, stand in line, just went berserk crazy standing in that line. Took everything I had. And I get up to the window and I'm like, oh my God, I've been standing in that line for 3 hours. Oh, I want a motorcycle license, please. And you know what she said to me? Wrong line. Wrong line. Oh my God. Oh, you're kidding me, right? Oh my God. She says, go around the corner. Oh my God. I go around the corner. There's another line. And it's shorter. So I stand in it and I get up there and I'm hearing him talk to the guy in front of me. And now he's telling him that they only take 10 sign up a day and you have to come back tomorrow because the sign up sheet is already filled and they don't fill them out for, except one day in advance. I'm like, this is crazy. So that was my initial kind of realization when it came to me that my impatience was costing me. I wasn't punishing the DMV by storming out of the building and driving angry back to work. I was punishing myself with my impatience. And so I did not learn patience in that at all. But what I learned was to tolerate frustration and to persevere through the trial to achieve what I was after achieving. That these were necessary steps to get to that point that I wanted. And so between here and there, persevering through the hard times, because this wasn't the end of the story. There was more lines. There was more tests. It was a bizarrely complicated system to get a motorcycle license there in Hawaii. I don't know why, but it finally happened a month later, but I had to persevere over a lot of insane bureaucratic things. And without patience, I was impatient and not knowing how to tolerate and cope with and accept. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be impatient, but learn how to persevere, tolerate the frustration, deal with it so that you achieve what you want.
Yeah, it's good. And these words of wisdom have always been there for us. One of my favorite scriptures that I've obviously not learned to apply is James 1:2-4 that says, consider it pure joy. Now, see, this just takes that whole thing to another level where this idea of, saying F patience, I want to develop perseverance and that it can literally lead to joy. Scripture says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance.
Perseverance.
Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. That's how important this is. Literally becoming the type of person who you're not trying to create a life that is problem-free and stress-free. You're trying to become the type of person who handles stress well and is a problem solver. Big difference.
Yes.
That's a big difference because now it goes right back full circle to controlling what you control.
Yes.
And not trying to, control everything you don't by avoiding all these problems or all this stress. No, bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
I have the perseverance to overcome. Boom.
There you are, 10 o'clock at night, ceiling fan hanging by a wire.
Yep.
Honey, I got this. Go to bed.
I got this. I've electrocuted myself 5 times, but I will persevere.
Boom.
Good. So go
F
out there.
Patience.
F patience. And
Forget patience.
Get you some perseverance going.
Order it on the menu.
And you will be lacking nothing in your life.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Just These Guys,
Your joy.
Thank you, Pastor Mike, for
Thank
persevering
you.
for
Yeah.
2 straight years.
Yeah. This has been fun. Thank you, Dr. Parker.
We will see you guys next week.
Have an awesome week.